quiet seaside town, an evil laid to rest centuries ago, has risen. An abandoned fortress deep in the swamp holds a secret that could save the village or destroy it. Now, a band of adventurers sets out to dig up the wounds of the past and bring the light of day to the roots of ruin. This is Tabletop Gold.
Friends, and welcome to another edition of Tabletop Gold. My name is Lars Casteen, and I am your host for this and every episode of this podcast. Let's go ahead and say hello to everybody else that is here. I'm going to start with somebody I don't normally start with. He got onto this Zoom call first, which means that he's in the furthest left position. His name is Matt Humphreys.
Good evening, everybody.
Bringing that sort of that silent storm, that deep velvet sort of sensibility. I love it. Robin Lange is here.
Hi. That's
Hi.
me.
That is you.
I've officially run out of original ways to say hello now that we're at episode 40.
I know, it's episode 40. We have only 10 more episodes of me doing this time of introducing everybody just by name and then moving on to try to get names hammered into listeners' heads.
Wait, so at episode 51, we don't have to do this anymore?
Yeah. Episode 51, we're going to find a different way to introduce this podcast. I figured 50 weeks was enough time for people to learn our names.
The person who starts listening at episode 51 is just fucked.
We'll think of something.
Okay, we'll do 51 episodes of this intro, and then we'll start.
Or do we just do a whole? It's 52 weeks in a year, right?
Typically, yeah.
There's no way to know.
Time is an illusion.
Who knows? So it's after. I mean, maybe it's just after a full year.
Okay, look, we'll work this out off microphone. That's fine. If people have an issue with the way that I'm hosting this podcast, we can talk about it sometime other than while we're recording. David Chernicoff is here.
Good evening,
the Tin
everyone.
Man.
This is what we're doing, right? We're doing kind of a
more of a quiet storm sort of thing.
This is Tabletop Gold Nights.
Which is going to throw everyone off who listens to us on their Monday morning commute.
Yeah, they're going to be put to sleep. They're going to miss their stop, and they're going to get fired.
Get your snifter of brandy, cool cats.
Crack a window. Turn up the volume.
Crack a window?
Yeah, well, when you're falling asleep in your car, you want to open the window. And
okay.
Waggity wap.
I get it.
Wibbity wap wap.
Speaking of waggity wap, here is Zoe Chernicoff.
Hello, bop bop.
Hello, Scooby.
Believe it or not, listener, that is Zoe's quiet storm setting.
Yep, that's it.
Zoe, I'm glad that we're having this conversation right now because you, earlier today, you mentioned that you had received an order from a popular mail order website on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
What was that order?
It was, and I wish I could say this is the first time I've done this, but it's now suggested to me every, fewer months than you want it to be, but at about the right time because they know a 5-pound bag of Haribo gummies, but particularly the fruit salad, which is, I have to be honest, maybe with the exception of the frogs, which I really like, but as an adult, for whatever reason, I feel bad eating 5 pounds of frogs. I've done it before, but fruit salad somehow has, it's ridiculous as I'm saying it, but something about the name has made it feel okay in the pandemic. I mean, a 5-pound bag of Haribo is think about a family-sized Cheerios box, right? It's about that much. It's a lot of gummy candy.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
And David eats a little, but he's not really a sweet tooth person. So I have no illusions that I am the one who eats slowly through this entire bag of gummy candy.
I eat more of the Haribo than I do of most other sweet things that are in the house because you can just pass by the pantry and grab like a couple as you go by. So like I'm helping bring that gummy level down more so than I would be with the equivalent of like, chocolate or ice cream or whatever. Although it would be weird to keep the ice cream in the pantry and sip it as I walk by.
But Zoe, you were saying that like this was pandemic related. Is this style of ordering food? This is like pandemic survivalism.
Well,
sort of.
yeah, I mean, we've done your average family stock up at various points there's also hurricane season here in North Carolina, so we've done that like now twice in the pandemic. But yeah, definitely the like, well, like if it comes to another one, another lockdown, another whatever, like at least we'll have, like there'll be plenty of, you can also bribe small kids with like one piece of Haribo fruit salad. So they're useful in a bunch of ways.
So with a 5-pound box of it, how many kids can you bribe? With
I mean, if a bunch of kids show
order?
up at our house and we have to take care of them, we could manage upwards of 200 kids if we needed to.
Yeah.
That's a lot of salad.
Has anybody else like done any particularly over the top food ordering or consuming or anything during this pandemic? Because I've done a little bit of something. It's not exactly food related, but it is excessive, and I want to share it in the spirit of this conversation, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Is it your foaming hand wash?
It's not my foaming hand wash, which I did get. Thank you. Check out these hands.
Oh, looking
Check out
much
these-
better.
Those are nice. Yeah.
You ordered directly from the source, right?
No, I was too lazy. I still order it off Amazon, but I got a better product.
How is ordering from from one website easier or less easy than ordering from a different website?
I don't know.
No prime delivery.
Don't ask me questions like
All your
that. I don't
stuff's
know.
already in there. You just have to hit the thing. You don't have to
Yeah.
be like, what
How
is
will
my
the
zip
algorithm
code?
recommend it to you exactly 2.5 months from now when you need it, like the fruit salad? It just
Oh,
won't
we
like
were
the
happen.
talking
fruit
about
salad.
That's part of
Amazon
it.
before. Okay, all right.
Wait, so what were you stocking up on?
Okay, so at the beginning of this pandemic, I took 0 pills at the beginning of every day. And I've been adding more and more pills over the course of this pandemic.
Sure.
So I want to share with you what it is that I take now every morning, now that we are, let's call it 24 months into the pandemic.
Yeah.
Okay, I take this 1-a-day vitamin.
Mm-hmm.
It's the blue one. 1-a-day is a brand name. It's a 1-a-day multivitamin. I take
Takes
that.
care of everything you need, you think, but we're about to find out, listener, that it doesn't.
Yeah, how are you filling the gaps, buddy?
I add in a little vitamin C during the winter months,
Nice.
just because I've got my heater going and I meticulously maintain a humidifier every winter. But I figure this additional line of defense is probably not going to hurt.
It helps with your your light box thing.
Oh, well, no, that would
That's
be my
vitamin
vitamin
D, I
D
guess.
supplement, which I also take. I take a vitamin D3 plus K2.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was going to say, if you don't have K2 in there, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's twice
barely
the
worth
K of a typical
Yeah.
of a typical multivitamin.
K1 is for amateurs.
I also take this 60 billion probiotic every morning.
Sure. You've got to get those, the microbiome. If you're not taking care of that, what are you doing?
Yeah, I also at the same time started taking 9 pills every day of this psyllium husk caps
Sure.
fiber
Sure.
thing, which I think if you were to just take one pill, this is the one you got to take. This 3 pills 3 times a day.
Oh, you can't do it all at
fiber
once.
supplement?
You got to time that out.
You might be able to. They advise you to take to take it with 8 ounces of water. I think
Yeah,
too.
you're supposed to drink that with a lot of water.
And you're not ready to commit to 24 ounces. That'd be a lot of water.
Right. I'm taking so many pills, I can't add a bunch of water to it at the
No,
same time.
no
Are you
room.
kidding? That would be
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the beginning of the pandemic, none of these things, and now every day I swallow maybe 9 vitamin pills every morning.
Do you know the next step is to start buying them from Alex Jones
Oh, like a Alpha Brain supplement? Sure.
and liquid silver, right?
Colloidal silver? Sure. I'll do that. You know, Robin, I feel as though I was sharing a personal story of mine in the spirit of being given and opening up vulnerabilities. And I feel like you're gunning for me and telling me that I'm going to start drinking silver next. And It's not true. There is a limit, but that limit has increased
That
radically
limit is
over the
9
pandemic.
fiber pills.
Yes.
I just, only because the setup that you gave this was, I entered the pandemic, stopped leaving my house, and started taking all these pills.
I see what you're saying. When you connect the dots that way, it does paint a picture for sure.
The other item that we have had that was our other hilarious bulk purchase is in the very first COVID sort of like that everybody had all at once in March 2020 when the toilet paper was like just disappearing from the thing.
Yeah.
I guess ours was before that. It was like the week that Tom Hanks got it and the NBA shut down and everyone was like, okay, it's real now. Like we did a really big run and we got a bunch of bulk foods, including the one thing that we have not touched this entire time, which is, babe, how big is it? Is it 10 pounds?
I think 25.
25. That's what I was going to say, and it seemed too ridiculous. A 25-pound bag of rice.
I believe jasmine rice, too. It's like niche.
Rice, which we put up on top of the pantry. It's barely reachable. Like, you need a step stool, and then it's really unwieldy to get it down from there. But it has been up there now for almost exactly 2 years as of the day we're recording this in late February, and we have not even considered touching it.
Oh, you gotta. Rice is great. You should eat some rice. It's good.
We eat other rice.
Oh, yeah, we eat rice. Yeah, just not out of the 25-pound bag. It's like our strategic rice reserve, and we've just never touched it.
Because also, once you open it, what do you do with the open bag?
Just sits up on the highest, least accessible place in the house.
The next people that own your house are going to be like, and I found the weirdest thing in the house. It was a 25-pound bag of rice. Unopened.
And weirdly, there was a vibrator in it.
Yeah. Exactly, along with all the firearms in the yard that we haven't dug up yet.
Hey, guys, let's do it. Let's move on. Let's play our game.
Fine.
Fine. There's one thing I want to say before we get into our game, and that is that if you are enjoying Tabletop Gold, and you must be, listener, it's episode 40. You've heard 40 of these things. We're 12 episodes away from me not introducing people's names at the beginning of the podcast. You like this show. And because you like this show, I'm asking you personally right now to please rate and review us on your podcast app of choice. Thank you. Did you do it? Now, did you do it? Okay, let's get into it. Hey, you did it. Or
Thank you.
Thank you. Now let's get into it and play our game. This is episode 40. We have broken off another 5. Everyone resets to 1 hero point and has a fresh hand of 4 hero point cards submitted by our lovely listeners on our Discord server. You can find the Discord server by going to www.tabletopgold.com and following the link. Submit your own hero point card. Make your mark on our show. Okay, let's get into it. Your investigation of this 3rd floor below Gauntlet has started with a bang. You quickly encountered a slithering, ghostly green light, just like the one you found upstairs, which you have since been chasing through the halls of this musty library. After a irritatingly quick battle with a water elemental, you have pursued the light into the central corridor of this library. And there, you have once more been waylaid by a quartet of book-reading ghouls who are currently thrilled at the prospect of taking some of your flesh and destroying your Morlock ghoul companion, Augriel. Now, as this green light slithers out of sight off to the north, please. Yeah. Roll for initiative. Now, while everyone is rolling, I want to spell a couple things out. The party last time around had this encounter with this water elemental, and they took 1 round to kill that water elemental and then just started running. And I'm going to say, as the GM of this game, that they took the equivalent of 2 rounds of time to run down the hallway, get organized, open the door, and have a quick back and forth with the ghouls in this main library corridor. In that time, Norman has put a forbidding ward on Mag and one of the ghouls. I'm going to ask Zoe right now, which one of those ghouls is that?
The closest one on the left is the one closest to us, so I'm going to pick that one.
Okay, so this is where we stand right now. We have 1 round remaining of the 4 rounds of Inspire Courage that Trill cast last time. Mag is still raging because she's been funneling her rage towards this green light that she has been chasing, which is presently disappearing off to the north. Norman is rolling Deception for initiative because this fight broke out while he was socially manipulating the ghouls.
Trying.
And Vadim, because you have not had time to heal yet, and Vadim took a big hit from this water elemental, he's down 13 hit points when combat begins. So we are rolling straight from one thing on into another. So let's see what everybody rolled for initiative. Armat, what did you roll?
I rolled a 19.
And that may be very good for you. You're starting wounded. You're getting off the blocks pretty quickly. Robin, what did you roll for initiative?
Do I have to say?
You must say, otherwise nobody will know.
I rolled a critical failure with a 1, so Trill ends up with an 11, and Trill's mad about it.
Womp, 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 womp.
Trill raging at the fact that she's going slowly.
Yes.
Bardarian rage?
Ooh.
Trill was just, she just couldn't catch up with any. She was very... So she came in, and these ghouls were so rude and mean to her new friend Ogriel, calling him a loser, that she was absolutely speechless. She was so taken back by how mean they were that she was so distracted in wanting to defend her new friend that she essentially flat-footed herself and rolled a 1.
That'll show him.
Yeah, you got him. David, how did you roll on your initiative?
Well, Mag came in really focused on the green light, not necessarily as keyed into the enemies. So she rolled a 4 on the die, which is also an 11 total. So Trill and I are just, I don't know, we're just doing a little tap dance routine in the back of the pack here.
Tall and small, having some trouble.
Well, I'll let you know that apparently Ogriel being called a loser threw him off even worse because he rolled a 9 on his initiative.
Oh, man.
Which brings us to Zoe. Zoe, what did you roll on your Deception initiative?
So apparently pleased with his lies and thinking maybe he's got a leg up on them with the canker, Norman rolled a 28.
So that means Norman is certainly going first. Let me set the stage before we jump into this initiative order. The 4 of you and Ogriel are here in this 15-foot wide hallway that has like hundreds of stone shelves carved into the walls to your east and west. There are a few doors along the hallway that you're able to see as this fight starts breaking out. And you realize that each one of these doors has a sign hanging above it. Now, like I said before, this green light has slipped off to the north, but you notice behind you to the south, there's another light. It is a faint blue glow that looks probably pretty familiar to all of you. And there is a larger sign in front of the area where that blue light is coming from.
Caution, floor wet.
It's just that sign 7 times. Caution, floor wet, caution.
Yeah.
They're so worried about litigation here in this library.
Tort reform has not hit Gauntlet.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if that holds true. But so the 4 of you and Ogriel are clustered up in front of this doorway that you just walked out of. And there are 4 ghouls licking their lips and getting ready to jump upon you a short distance to your north. So let's do it. Let's get into round 1. First up is Norman.
So I think he figures Mag is right next to the one he's protected her against, and that will be the one that would be easiest for anyone else to get to. So I think he focuses on the one that on the left that's back behind that one. And he is going to start out, given his deception advantage on his roll, throwing a TKP at that. He takes some of the heavy books that are right next to it and goes, "Knowledge is power."
So do you think Norman would agree that knowing is half the battle, or what percentage of the battle would you say that?
Well, let's see what the roll is.
Yeah, I think we're about to find that one out.
The other thing that I think is worth pointing out is I think because Norman has run in and the light, they were focused on the light and the light went to the north, he has not seen the light behind them yet. But that is a 21 from Norman.
So this book flies across the room and bashes this ghoul in the head. Go ahead and roll damage and add your sneak attack damage.
That is 16 points of damage.
So that's a massive hit as this ghoul is sent reeling, hissing at you. So it's like the moment they're like, "It's that loser!" Bonk! He gets like slammed in the head by this thing and collapses backwards, balancing his weight on the bookshelf behind him. Norman's got one more action.
That's right.
I think Norman's going to try and figure out a little bit of something about these guys. I mean, they've met them once, but he wants to know a little bit more if he can figure out any way to get an edge on them.
Yeah, so religion, or if you have a lore that seems relevant, you could do a recall knowledge.
Do these guys like love the stars? They seem like they're kind of like stargazing telescope guy. Like, is there a?
It doesn't
Did they
seem
come
to you
from
as
the
you look at
stars?
these. As you look at the decaying flesh and beady red eyes and long lolling tongue and sharpened teeth, you don't see a lot of indication that they spend a lot of time gazing at the stars. No.
Okay, all right. Norman decides that he hates these guys and knowledge is not power, and instead he reaches in his pocket, intent on destroying them since he can't lie to them, and he gets out his Wand of True Strike for his next attack.
So as Norman pulls out the wand, a ghoul on the eastern side of the hallway leaps forward, baring its teeth, and comes down on top of Augriel, trying to bite into his flank. This is going to be a miss as Augriel dodges deftly backwards out of the way.
Man, I love our support crew.
I am not a loser. I'm going to eat you.
Damn straight.
Like the energy.
And this ghoul is going to follow up as Augriel is talking to him with a claw strike right at Augriel. This time it is just barely a hit as Augriel is going to take just a little bit of damage, 3 points of damage. It is now when the ghoul that Norman just slammed in the head with this book starts scampering forwards, advancing at Norman to get revenge. So there's now a trio of ghouls right in the face of the party, and this ghoul is going to run forward towards Norman, open up its jaws, and try to bite out at Norman also. This time it is a 17 to hit.
That is a miss. Don't bite the biter.
It's going to swing forward with its claw as well.
You gotta draw.
Nice. Okay, as I rolled a 20 on the die, I just want to remind you that we have a house rule that people can spend hero point cards to cancel the effect of this if they want to.
It's so early.
Oh, I forgot about that. Thank you for reminding us.
Yeah.
Here's the amount of damage that this strike is going to do. I rolled a 4 on my d4. The name of this critical strike is That'll Leave a Mark, as Norman gets a deep gash cut into his shoulder. This is going to be normal damage, and the target takes 2d6 persistent bleed damage. So would you like to cancel that or not?
So it means each time I could get up to 12 points of persistent bleed. How does persistent bleed work? You can shake it if you roll above a certain number?
Yeah, at the end of your turn, anytime you're taking persistent damage, you'll take the persistent damage, then you roll a d20 for a flat check. If you beat a 15, then you clear the persistent damage after you take it. Bleeding, you can get an additional check to end the bleeding if a person spends 2 actions to take the medicine action called First Aid to try to beat a DC with their medicine check to enable you to take another flat check at that moment. So you can be helped, but it will require somebody with medical training.
Also, assuming Vadim has a reaction this round, he's going to use it to glimpse this.
Well, what do you guys think? I can use the hero point card, but here we are at the beginning of episode 40.
It seems like, I don't know, I haven't played these games enough to know, but 2d6 persistent seems like
high.
It could add up a lot.
Yeah.
So it feels like, I mean, we like don't want to run out of hero points in case somebody needs them to keep from dying, but like, man, that'll get you to dying a lot faster, I would think. I don't know.
I think Norman in character would do it, right? Like Norman's going to want to save Norman. Like he's not going to be heroic about this. He gets struck so little. I feel like he'd be kind of a baby. So Norman's like, not so fast, and like uses some little mind tricks to like catalyze the wound or something a little so this doesn't happen.
Yeah, so Norman can dig deep, cancel this hero point card, and instead he will just take 10 points of critical damage, not taking the persistent bleed damage.
And that'll only be 5 with the glimpse.
And that'll be 5 after the glimpse.
That sounds like Norman.
That seems right.
So Zoe's going to burn her 1 hero point, and Norman is going to take a total of 5 points of damage as this ghoul that was just recently bashed in the head is going to become enfeebled?
Enfeebled, yeah.
Okay. So the strength drains out of this ghoul as it is plagued by visions of judgment from Pharasma. And it is at this point that Vadim, having just inflicted this ghoul with this vision, decides it is time to act.
Vadim is going to raise vigilance, pass by Norman, and try to tumble through to the other side of these ghouls. So let's make that acro check. Ooh, 14.
Yeah, and this ghoul is very quick. Even though it's been enfeebled, it manages to get its foot down and stop your passage, so you have burned 1 action and you are back where you started.
Unfortunately, we're blocked in here. The ghouls have formed a ghoul wall, so I'm going to just try and tumble through again because I'm not doing any good when I can't hit them. Let's try that again. 26.
So this time, this ghoul is still off kilter from the first attempt that Vadim made to tumble through it, and Vadim manages to land handily on the far side of the ghoul. Vadim now flanking this enfeebled, weakened ghoul with Norman.
Vadim raises vigilance to strike, and you can see like wispy, phantasmal threads of positive energy echoing, like sort of drifting off of it, as Pharasma has blessed vigilance with extra power against the undead. That is a 13 to hit. Woof.
And even though this ghoul is distracted by Norman in front of it, that is going to miss. So Vadim, on his turn, makes 2 attempts to tumble past this ghoul and then comes up short with an attack.
Ugh.
And it's at this moment that Trill sees it is time to act.
Everyone still has 1 more round of Inspire Courage.
Meaning that Norman and Vadim have had their final round of Inspired Courage.
Oh, so it actually kind of would make sense for me to cast it again then. To do a recall knowledge, we figured that it needs to be religion, it was?
Or a more useful lore than astrology.
So what about occultism?
Is this a bit that we do now where I say religion and you say occultism?
Potato.
I don't see why occultism wouldn't apply to something undead underground. That sounds occult.
It sounds arcane too.
occultism is good for other things. I don't want to tell you that you've gotten like a lemon at the car dealership, but it's just that occultism is not relevant to these undead creatures.
I'm just gonna ask, and you can just keep saying no, and that's fine.
And at some point, that does in fact become a bit. That's just how bits work.
Yeah, I think we're there. I think we've gotten there.
I can't imagine that Whistlore applies.
No, it doesn't. I don't think it would.
What about survival? Robin, one thought is because there's one more round of Inspire, if you delay until after my turn, if you're planning on re-upping it anyway, I could go first, take the last round that I've already got.
That seems efficient.
And also, you don't even need to delay because the two of you are on the same initiative, so one of you can go before the other one. No problem.
So why let's just have him go before me.
Yeah.
And then you can delete that bit.
No, I'm keeping the bits keeping it in. That's a nice nugget of tabletop gold right there.
A golden nugget?
Yeah. So Trill pauses for a moment as Vadim comes up short on this attack, and Mag seizes the opportunity.
Mag will delay until after Trill's turn. No.
Trill will delay until after Mag's turn.
Where at this point is the green light?
The green light has disappeared off to the north.
All right, so it's gone that way, but it's not currently visible anywhere.
Not currently visible.
Mag leaves.
Mag heads back to town. Weapon is already out.
And you're raging. So
Mag is going to take a hack at the ghoul that is directly in front of her, because that's the kind of lady that she is. So it's a one-handed strike. The other hand was used to open up the door. So that's a 25 to hit.
Yeah, so that 25 is going to hit, but is not quite a critical.
And here is damage. That's 11 damage this time.
Okay, so Mag one-handed cuts a big chunk out of the ghoul immediately in front of her.
Oh, yeah, you know what? If I wasn't going to move, I should have done this in the first place. Well, she's not thinking straight. She's raging. So with my second action, I will place my second hand on the weapon. Oh, well. Should have thought of that first. And the second attack will be a two-hander. Womp, womp. And that's why you plan your turn, kids. That is a 19 to hit.
And that 19 hits as you deftly cut into this ghoul in front of you one more time.
190 points of damage.
Is 15 more damage.
Okay, and with that, Mag cuts the ghoul in front of her down.
Well, that's handy. That one hadn't gone yet. Now it can't bug us. Good work.
Thank you.
Trill considers that now might be time to take action.
So Trill's gonna do her lingering composition and inspire courage, because look, guys, we already got 1 out of 4 down.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I like the dance that you're making happen.
Yeah, agree. And that's 21.
Yeah, so 21 means that's a success. You burn the focus point, and everybody can get 3 rounds of the next composition cantrip that you cast.
Nice.
Okay, and then she goes ahead and casts and inspire courage for 3 rounds.
Woo! Had a girl.
Ray of Frost hasn't been working so well for me recently, but let's give it a try anyway. So Trill's gonna go ahead and target this guy, and she's then gonna cast Ray of Frost and cross her fingers that it's gonna be able to get through Norman's legs. Or, get around Norman's hip. And it's not, because Trill only rolled a 13.
The Ray of Frost just goes way wide, and the ghoul remains standing. It's at this point that the ghoul that is furthest starts creeping up behind Vadim as he's focusing on the ghoul in front of him. And the ghoul lurches forward at Vadim's neck and plants a bite on him. And that's going to be a 24 versus Vadim's flat-footed armor class.
Yes, that will hit.
Vadim feels the teeth of this ghoul puncture him. Sorry, the math in this thing is not correct. Let's just say the bite's gonna do a total of. No. Okay, sorry. No, I don't understand what's happening, is what I'm trying to tell you.
Let's call it 1 point of damage, right?
We for sure
that's
can't
what
help you.
that's what the application is calling it. I'm going to call it 3 points of damage to Vadim as he feels this disgusting jaw, these teeth sink into him, and I need Vadim right now to make a fortitude saving throw.
Oh.
Okay.
And we'll see what happens here.
Oh, God. That is a critical failure. He rolled a 1 on the die.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Hero point? Do we hero point that?
I mean,
I'm guessing it's
Yeah.
going to be disease.
Yeah. I don't
I
think
think-
he wants to become a ghoul.
We don't get to find out what's going to happen first, right?
No.
But I mean,
What would the fun in that be?
Robin, I think you're right.
Right, because that's what happened to Ogriel, right?
I don't
They
think
bite
we
you
want
and they
ghoul disease if we can avoid it.
Nope.
Yeah, but
No,
the
no,
thing
no.
is, it's not a guaranteed avoidance. And
Right, he might still fail, and then he could he could die and not have hero points.
Yeah, because I'm flanked and
he would
exposed.
die without hero
and
points. But like, he's
It goes through.
Okay, so he is not hero pointing that.
All right.
So he is going to immediately go to stage 2 of ghoul fever. And what that means is he is going to immediately take 9 points of negative damage. And he, as long as he has this level of disease, is going to regain half as many hit points from all healing.
Okay, not too bad.
I also need Vadim to please make another fortitude save.
Okay. That is a critical success. 20
All
on the
right.
die.
All right.
So here comes a claw strike from the ghoul. This one's going to miss with only a 12 to hit. And it's at this point that Ogriel is going to
Can I say before you decide what he's going to do, I just like the idea he goes over to the dead ghoul and feasts this entire fight. He's no help at all. He's just eating.
So I'm going to give you a hero point for that.
knew she'd get one this game.
Because while that's not something I'm going to do now, that is absolutely his gimmick, and he will do it very soon. So don't worry about it. So Ogriel runs past Norman and Mag, scampering to the far side of the ghoul that just bit Vadim. And Ogriel is going to focus on the ghoul that just bit Vadim and is going to open his mouth and bite out at that ghoul and is going to miss. And then he's going to claw the ghoul and is going to miss again as Ogriel calls out, sorry, I'll get him next time. And it is at this point the beginning of round 2. And here's the situation. Mag, Norman, and Trill are towards the southern part of this 15-foot wide hallway, right in front of a couple of ghouls. Vadim is pinned in by 2 of those ghouls that have got him in a flanking position as he is grabbing his neck in pain, and he's looking quite feverish. And Ogriel is a short distance north, trying to sneak around and take advantage of these ghouls while they are flat-footed. It is now Norman's turn. What will Norman do?
So I think what Norman would do, he's got his wand out. He's upset at how hurt Vadim is, and I think he's starting to realize they've rushed their injured friend in here. So he is going to use the Wand of True Strike against the goblin in front of him first.
Cool. The way
Nice.
True
That's
Strike
awesome.
works in this game is it makes it so that your next attack gets essentially advantage. You roll a d20 twice.
So his first is a 27, and then he rolls another attack, right?
Yes,
Just to
please.
see if it's better than
crit,
that?
if it's crit.
It isn't. It is not better. It's a 16.
So the 27 is a critical hit, though.
All right.
Oh, all
Nice.
right. And I also roll the flat-footed damage.
Yeah, you go ahead and roll your sneak attack and then double that.
I feel like it does. This is enough. He's dead. Is my point. It's 15 points of damage.
Yeah, this ghoul in front of you is certainly dead as it is blown apart by this book that flies forward towards it as well.
Amazing.
Knowledge
Amazing.
is power.
You keep going back and forth.
Yeah, True Strike. It's interesting. I don't want to slow combat down, but it's like True Strike in D&D 5th edition is like a joke of a spell that you should basically never take, in my opinion. True Strike in this game is great and is always worth the action to cast it. So
there you go.
You got a critical hit out of it. There you go.
Huzzah!
So as this ghoul collapses from Norman's attack, another ghoul is going to step into the place where it fell and is going to target Vadim, who looks like the soft target at this point.
Boo.
So here comes a strike from that ghoul, who opens up its jaws and tries to bite down on Vadim.
Love to hear. That's what we needed.
It's even just back out, baby.
It is very bad. I agree.
Nice.
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 This ghoul flies off balance as it is just lusty for Vadim's flesh. He's knocked all the lusty. That's right,
Oh
lusty for
my.
flesh. Just let me do it. I'm doing my best here. Okay, so
Plus, we just got an
that-
episode title.
lusty for Vadim's flesh. That means that this ghoul is going to be knocked off balance and is slowed to, meaning it only gets one action until the end of its next turn. Unfortunately, it has already gotten its actions on this turn, which means that it is able to strike out at Vadim with a claw, and that claw is going to miss Vadim with an 18 to hit.
Haha. Oh wait,
No,
no,
it's not.
No, it hits because
It's going
he's
to hit
flanked.
Vadim because he's flanking.
Boo.
So that claw flashes forward into Vadim's face, doing only 2 points of slashing damage, but I do need Vadim to make a fortitude save.
All right, big fortitude.
Ghoul fever
save.
is a bummer.
Ghouls,
Yeah.
ghouls, ghouls, do long nails and bloody lips.
What radio station do you listen to?
17.
And that 17 is a save as you feel
right.
the saliva of this ghoul sort of tingle for a moment, but then that tingling passes. And it is at that moment that Vadim, seeing this off-balance, slowed ghoul in front of him, that he decides to act.
Cool. Yeah. So he's going to just start things off by diving into a flurry of blades and make a double slice at the one he is flanking, the ghoul he's flanking with Augrail. So Vigilance strikes for a 20 and his dagger comes in for a 12.
So that 20 is going to hit as Vigilance catches the ghoul in a soft spot of its back as it is distracted by Augrail.
Wonderful. 14 damage.
And that includes the positive damage from Vadim's blade ally as this strike at the ghoul badly injures it.
And
Matt,
then-
can I make a suggestion?
Yeah?
Get out of there. Get some space between you and you're by far the weakest in the party, and you'll open up that spot that's flanking everything for me to jump into and start hitting stuff. I was getting ready to use an action to move you out of the way. Like, just bail for a second.
Mag puts Vadim in her pouch.
Go hang out in the hallway to the east and just bleed or sweat or whatever it is you need to do for a turn. If you wouldn't do it, don't do it. But,
I don't think it would be different if it wasn't undead, I think.
Yeah.
But I think Vadim, much like Mag, is not thinking clearly when he sees his sworn enemies, basically.
He does have the ghoul fever after all.
Yeah. He
The only cure is killing
ghoul
ghouls.
scratch fever.
Whap, whap, but whap, whap.
Just the worst songs. I think your parodies are lovely, but the songs
Oh, thank you,
themselves
yeah.
are among my least favorite that you're pulling out tonight.
The Motor City Madman is lives up to the last part of his name. Vadim is just going to make a dagger strike at the ghoul he's been targeting. And that's a critical hit. That's 20 on the die for 22.
You gotta draw. Nice.
Oh, thank God that worked out.
and you were thinking of moving out of the way.
The cowardice.
It was a test, and you passed.
Let's roll that down.
So this crit card that you just drew for this piercing, I assume you're piercing?
Yeah.
It's called Send Him Reeling. The target becomes flat-footed until the end of its next turn.
Instead of the damage?
No, in addition to the damage.
Okay. All right. This is not one of those we've been totally robbed blind things.
No.
No.
The damage only gets reduced if it's mine.
Right.
I rolled a 2 on the die for a total of 4.
I think you rolled a 2 on the die for a total of 8 because you critically hit.
Right.
And that is enough to kill this flat-footed. The crit card was really academic. That's enough to kill the flat-footed ghoul that Vadim has stabbed out at.
Okay.
And he whirls around, just like looking feverish and mad, and says, "You are next," to the ghoul facing Norman.
I feel like he's panting. He's like,
Yes, you are next.
So Mag sees Vadim strike down this ghoul with the aid of Augriel's distraction, and the only enemy that Mag sees remaining is this ghoul nearly right in front of her that is moving slowly due to being off balance. What will Mag do?
So Mag sees this flurry of blades from Vadim. She's already raging, but this sort of display of athleticism and grace and lethality just sort of breathes new energy into her. So she stands up taller and she says, "You'll never know how much I love you. You never know how much I care." And then she hits the shit out of this remaining ghoul.
Only I actually
let's
had my
see.
harp with me in my lap right now.
And that
Fumble card because you fumbled hard. The name of this fumble is Meant to Do That. You are moved 10 feet in a random direction determined by the GM, and this movement triggers reactions. So if they have attacks of opportunity, they will take said attacks of opportunity.
it's probably not worth a hero point card to counter that. There's no one else around, right?
Exactly. I don't think it's that bad. So, I wouldn't mind the landing the strike and the damage, but
I think it's not worth it.
I don't think it's worth it.
Okay, so what happens is Mag lifts the two-handed bastard sword up above her head with such fury, getting ready to hit the quote-unquote shit out of it, that she is pulled backwards by the weight of the sword, stumbles past Trill, and lands 10 feet away from her starting point, just going straight backwards.
Back to nap time at a preschool. Everyone is just fallen down.
And Mag has 2 actions remaining.
Mag is going to jump back into the combat. So she'll move back up to the west side of this thing, stepping around one of its fallen cultist friends. And she will execute another two-handed strike, perhaps with a touch less presumption. And that is a 15 to hit.
Mag misses by 1.
Oh.
Just barely misses as she charges forward. And the strike looks true, coming straight towards the neck of this off-balance ghoul. But the ghoul falls even more off balance at just the last second, causing the bastard sword to pass harmlessly in the air above the ghoul's head. And it is as Mag's strike misses that Trill gets to take her turn.
Trill just watched all of this with Mag and just thinking, is she okay? What just happened?
It's like a yo-yo. She was like, bap, bap, bap.
Trill would love to just get rid of this last guy to kind of feel useful. So Trill's gonna move to come and flank this last ghoul.
Really surround this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as Trill steps into position, Vadim and Norman are flanking this ghoul from the north and the south, and Mag and Trill are flanking it from the east and west.
Trill says, okay, now I'm gonna finally be useful in this stupid fight in this stupid big library where nothing seems to have worked out for me today. And she casts her Ray of Frost. Yes, she rolls a 22.
Nice.
And that 22 hits for 13 damage!
Hey!
Finally did something useful.
As this ghoul has the wind knocked out of it as like fractals of frost wrap around its neck.
Let it go. Let it go.
And it is at this moment that
Lars
Augriel
just
says,
Won't respond.
I don't know the next line after those lines of "Let It Go." I thought that was the end of the song. Is what I'm trying to say. I've heard
No,
Let
there's
It
a
Go,
bunch
Let It
more.
Go.
Hang on.
There's a bunch more.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, let me help. As Augriel scampers forward next to Vadim and looks at the ghoul that called it a loser at the beginning of this fight and says, I think you're a loser. And he opens his jaws and bites out at this ghoul with a critical hit.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, did my 13 damage not do anything?
It did 13 points of damage, yeah.
I thought it was already nearly dead.
That was
wasn't
the other
enough.
one.
Oh, okay.
It's badly
that was the
injured.
other
You did
one.
13
Okay, never mind.
points of damage.
We already
to
killed the
this
one that
thing.
was, yeah.
Oh, we killed the one that was nearly dead. I'm so
Yes,
sorry.
This one was intact.
And it's at this point that the light from Mag's bastard sword catches Augriel in the eye, but Augriel rolls a 16 on the flat check, manages to get the attack out, and hits the ghoul for a grand total of 18 points of damage, which is enough to tear a huge chunk of flesh out of the ghoul, ending this combat and taking you out of initiative, as all of you contributed mightily to dismantling these 4 ghouls.
Yeah, I was going to say Trill's Inspire Courage was huge there. I don't think you should say she didn't do anything up until that strike.
It had also only been 1 round until then.
Yeah.
Let that canker come and get his flesh for himself, huh?
Can we do it in a minute, though? I'm feeling kind of woozy.
Oh, here, let me help.
I got it!
I have a couple.
Trill starts looking through her backpack.
She's like, well, I have an antidote, and I have a scroll of restore senses, and I have an elixir of life. Are any of these useful?
For disease, I will say that a voice echoes in your head and says, no, not really.
Oh, crap.
While Vadim is treating wounds, Mag would sort of wander up to the north of this room and see if there's any sign of the green light. She doesn't want to, she checks briefly with Vadim. She's feeling guilt that her sort of heedless stampede into this room when Vadim was already injured has now put him much further in harm's way. She is also, her curiosity remains, so she's sort of like trying to see if there's any sign of where exactly the green light might have disappeared. Resigned to spending an hour not pursuing it, shit's still on her mind.
So Mag wanders off to the north to explore the area and see if she can get a sense of this green light. Norman is aiding Vadim with a medicine check. Can I get that aid check from Norman, please?
It's a 13.
Okay. So Norman is going to have no effect on Vadim either way. And then Vadim, you spend 10 minutes healing. What was your check?
So Vadim rolled a 1 on the medicine check for a 10. So he critically fails.
Okay. That's not good.
Yeah.
So, of course, we all know that critically failing on treat wounds means that you are going to take a D8 of damage.
And that is, it rolled max damage for me. How nice. That's
good.
8.
Yikes.
So Vadim's hands are just shaking too badly after this fight as the adrenaline dump is hitting him. And he's just like, you can't get it sutured.
No, we got it. We're doing it.
I don't think so, Norman. Although I appreciate your enthusiasm, as ever.
So Mag, as this is happening, explores off to the north and doesn't see any sign of the light. but she does see a total of 4 doors in this northern area. One leading off to the west, one leading off to the east, one leading off to the immediate north, and then another one again to the east, but on the southern wall of this hallway as it curves towards the east. So Mag sees 4 potential ways forward.
I think on hearing Vadim cry out, sort of drops back into the room where all of this is happening and returns to Vadim's side and takes a healing potion out of her pouch and gives it to Vadim.
Vadim pushes it away and says,
No, save it for when we need it. I can get this. I just need to focus.
But Vadim, you're hurt and it's getting worse, and it's because I ran in here so recklessly. At least take this.
It's all right. You think this is bad? You should have seen some of the things I treated in the regiment.
Mag settles for sort of, cradling his head, his neck, helping him to support his weight as he sort of lies on the ground, trying to recover.
So Vadim, because he has lay on hands, can every 10 minutes do lay on hands. You're going to heal back half of that, so it's going to get you 6 hit points every 10 minutes.
cool. He will definitely do that after the first, he takes the damage.
So essentially what that means is an hour from now, right as the clock strikes noon, just from lay on hands, Vadim would be able to be up to full health.
Cool.
Can Norman try treating himself during that time? Because he's got a little...
Totally. Let's get a treat wounds from Norman.
I either got a 19 or a 25. I feel like either of those is fine. Can we move on?
You got a 25, yes. So Norman got that 25. It's a critical success. You healed 19. You're fine.
Great.
Mag could treat wounds on Grolligoligas.
So Augriel, as you come towards him to treat wounds, he says,
No, don't worry about it.
and he advances towards one of these fallen ghouls and rips its chest open and just buries his face in there and just goes and gorges himself on this ghoul.
Revolting.
And then dusts himself off, spraying like mucus and blood everywhere, and says,
Okay, I feel a lot better now.
Yeah, I would think a heal would actually do damage to him as undead.
Yeah, probably.
Well, Mag is, not one for the knowledge arts.
During all of this time, as Trill's kind of been biding her time, seeing, okay, am I going to have to pull out my spell slot? Am I going to have to pull out my soothe? What are we doing here? I can help. Do I need to help? So she's been kind of waiting in the background, seeing at what point she needs to step in, and all the while she's been playing on her lute and refocusing to get focus point back.
yeah, so this is all to say that everybody right around noon manages to get their business straightened out. This hour that you spend in this main library corridor passes relatively uneventfully. Nobody comes by to mess with you, and everything seems quite quiet. And it is now noon, and what would you guys like to do?
So I think Norman has been really focused on Vadim and his own believed medical prowess and like patching himself up. So he still hasn't turned around for an hour. And like as everyone is healed, he starts to get a tingly sense on his neck, and you sort of hear him like growl quietly, like as he like turns his attention away from Vadim and from himself, and he like sort of slowly looks over his shoulder and begins like quietly growling, and sees the blue light that's behind them.
And I'm going to say that as Norman sees that blue light, as you're sort of like scanning the area, you're able to take note of all these signs that I described above these doors.
Yeah.
And the sign leading into the room with that blue light in it. And they all say, Nyang Nyang Bonobo. Nang Nang Bonobo.
Good
on
morning.
them.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So as you look towards this light to the south and you have this reaction, you see that sign says reading room.
I feel like his eyes quickly scan any signs that are above doors between where he's standing and the light. Like he's not gonna, he wouldn't turn his back on the light to read signs, but if there's anything else in his eyes would kind of bounce down those.
Sure. So you look down the hall towards this blue light, this shimmering, eerie blue light, just like you saw in the room underneath the lighthouse. And you see one sign off to the west that is labeled workroom, and that's all that you're able to see from this vantage point.
They say that knowledge is power, Norman says, and he's sort of stepping, like march stepping down the hallway as he feels compelled to get closer and closer to this light. He's not going fast, but he's like honed in on it.
Mag follows to support Norman or to pull Norman back if it seems like Norman's getting too close to some. Mag remembers Norman's response both to at the top of the lighthouse and to the beam of light coming through the second level up to it, and remembers Norman getting really close on the second floor and potentially endangering himself, and so wants to sort of not interfering with anything yet, but wants to be in position to pull Norman back if Norman gets into danger.
Trill's following. Said, Norman, be careful. Remember what happened with the last light. Don't shock yourself. Norman or Ao?
Vadim's gonna follow too, of course.
And I imagine Norman gets to this is another circular room that the light is in. He gets just to the doorway and he has just enough sense to do like a quick check for traps to see if there's any reason he shouldn't step in there.
Well, there is potentially a reason that you shouldn't step in there that you will not need to check for traps in order to see. This is a circular chamber with smooth stone walls that glisten with moisture despite the air being dry and somewhat stuffy. There are several low couches that are arranged in a circle and interspersed with low tables stacked with a few books and rotting morsels of decayed flesh. This twisting ribbon of pale blue light stretches between the bare floor at the room's center and the ceiling above, its points of contact sending creepers of what look like infected tissue out in a distorted spiral for a few feet. So it's similar to what you saw in the room upstairs, where this energy is almost like infecting the building material of the room.
Ooh.
And as Norman is pulled kind of to this room, he sees at the far end of this circular chamber 2 more ghouls lounging on this furniture, each of them reading a book and eating snacks, what look like little bits of gray Morlock flesh. This room smells horrible. And there's a 3rd ghoul on the eastern wall, also lying down on a couch here. This ghoul is wearing more elaborate robes. And they're giving off a sense of greater intelligence as they're relaxing on this couch. These Morlock treats are okay, I guess. But I feel as though they lack a certain subtlety, this ghoul whispers. These ghouls at the far southern end of the room roll their eyes. I like them, one whispers back, as it looks up from its book and spots you at the entrance to the room.
Oh no.
The ghoul in the elaborate robes stands up and says, No, you two lack sophistication. If you think these Morlock snacks are good, just wait till you taste Adventurer.
How dare you?
And we'll pick up from there, fighting more ghouls.
More ghouls.
Next time.
Cool. You'll be a woman.
You'll be a woman soon.
The Roots of Ruin is a Tabletop Gold production produced under the Paizo Incorporated Community Use Policy. The Roots of Ruin uses trademarks and/or copyrights owned by Paizo Inc., used under Paizo's Community Use Policy. We are expressly prohibited from charging you to use or access this content. Paizo does not recognize, endorse, or sponsor this project in any way. Original characters and content are the property of Tabletop Gold. For more information about Paizo Inc. and Paizo products, visit paizo.com. We at Tabletop Gold would love to hear from you. Email us at letters@tabletopgold.com and find all our social links at tabletopgold.com.